Hey everybody, it's Tommy Lee Francis with the Morgan County Today. It is a great day to be alive. We are excited to be here. I've got a special treat for everybody. That ain't it. I don't think that's working. Okay, so that camera's down. That's okay. This other one works good. How's everybody doing? Make sure if you're watching, you do a couple things real quick. You're going to hit the share button right down there. You're going to also type in the comments where you are from so we know where you're watching from. That'll help us out. Let us know if you can hear us. If you can hear me, put it down in the comments. If you can't, put it down in the comments, but you probably wouldn't be able to follow instructions. Okay, so if you got stars, make sure you hit that stars button and hit it anyway, because you might have some free ones that you can give us to help keep this thing going. And I hope to have a few good dad jokes for you. But I also have a special guest here with us tonight. We have Sheriff Wayne Potter, America's Sheriff, right here in Morgan County. Sheriff, how's it going?
It's going good, Tommy. How are you?
I'm living a dream. Thank you for asking.
That's awesome.
You might want to get closer to that microphone.
So, is that better?
All right, if you guys can see that, hear that, make sure you comment where you're watching from. I think they can see us and hear us. Hey! Amy Wright says hello.
Hello, Amy. How are you?
They can all see and hear you when you talk.
That's awesome.
I just realized you got a guy standing over your shoulder over there. I don't know if you're going to be able to handle that.
I think I can handle it.
Okay, so I wanted to bring the sheriff on here tonight to talk about a lot of different things. One is he's running for re-election this time around. He does not have an opponent, so you don't have to worry about who to choose.
It's a pretty easy choice. If I can just get Leah to vote for me, I think I'll be a winner.
If he can get Leah to vote for him. We also have a live studio audience tonight, so they may clap and they may boo. I don't know. Depends if I do that. Okay, he says, I can hear you, but barely. Well, let me turn that up just a hair bit. I think Wayne needs to be turned up a little bit. Okay, we hear and see fine. They're at partners. All right, make sure you're sharing so everybody can see this. Remember that here within the show, the sheriff's going to have a really big announcement that you guys want to stay tuned for. So make sure you're sharing.
Wow. So Tommy's selling ads tonight. That's what he's doing.
Selling ads and hits. Make sure you click that button. And make sure you can hit that. So I've got a lot of different sound effects and a lot of cool stuff, but right first we'll play our intro, and then we'll get started. And we're back. Man, that is so cool. I'm trying to have a lot of new different technology in here tonight, Sheriff, so hopefully it sounds good, looks good. We won't know till we're done, but they are letting us know there where they're watching from. Hey, thanks, Potter for president. We haven't even let you talk much, and they're already saying you should be president.
Yeah,
what the heck?
About that.
We got Rick Elmore from Cofield watching. It's good to see you, Rick.
Rick's a great brick mason. I like Rick. He's a super good guy.
I know Rick because he's a dang good warden when he was down at the prison.
He was that too. He was that too. But he's laid some brick for me. He's a super good guy.
We got downtown Cofield coming in. Lima Charlie. All right, Lima Charlie. Sam Cyphers. All right, Sam. Appreciate you being on here. So everybody, make sure you're tuning in and sharing this and letting us know where you're watching from so we can get as many eyeballs on this interview as we can, because you do not want to miss what is coming. I promise you that. So we're going to talk about a few different things here with the sheriff. But the first thing I want to bring up is something that some of y'all don't even know. That this man sitting over here that is the top law enforcement officer in Morgan County is also a professional wrestler.
So the quick intro to that is that when I was in high school, something I always wanted to do. So I conned my mom and dad into sending me to the school. Was able to get through it, and it did not last long. My career was over with in about 3 bouts. And
did you have any matches?
I refereed 2 and was in 1. We were traveling around doing the Rockwood Armory and places like that. Done 1 here at Wartburg High School. It just wasn't for me. I mean, I guess I had girls on my mind in high school, and it just wasn't for me.
Leah, you don't have to listen to this.
She knows.
So if you know the sheriff, then you know his body stature is built to be a wrestler. I mean, it's like you came out of the womb to be a wrestler?
I don't know about that, but I'm 6'6", only 350 pounds, so I'm a pretty good sized guy.
On the decline, by the way.
I'm trying to be on the decline.
Yeah, he works out every day.
That's a lie.
Well, I'm trying to help you out, Sheriff.
I appreciate that.
So, anyway, so the reason I brought up the wrestling thing is you guys know that tuned in on Tuesday last week, we had another big guy here.
Absolutely, yeah, and I got to watch that. It's pretty cool. He seemed like a really good guy.
Yeah, that's Tyrus.
Yeah, so did you enjoy it?
He's a Fox News guy. I did enjoy that.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
So then I got to meet with you later that following night when you come back from the wrestling event. I seen you out here and got a chance to talk to you, and you really seemed to enjoy the match too. So.
Oh yeah, I did. So we went up to the NWA. You know, the more you talk, the more you sound like a sheriff that we used to have here in Morgan County. But I'm just gonna let that right here.
He's not gonna stop.
So we might have a few impersonations here tonight too. So he's talking about Tyrus at the NWA Always Ready event that we had. So we as we talked to Tyrus on the phone, on the podcast last week, you guys know that he committed to giving us 3 books if I bought one to give away. And so guess what we're going to do tonight, Sheriff?
What are we going to do?
We're going to give away one of these books to somebody that's tuning in. So if you want one of these books that Tyrus personally signed, then make sure you write in the comments, you love Tyrus or I love the Sheriff, whatever you want to write. If you're watching live right now, you got a chance to win this Tyrus book, and we'll give that away here after a while. So that's going to be pretty cool. But had the Sheriff not been a wrestler, we wouldn't even be talking about that right now. But I thought it'd be appropriate.
So it was an experience. But those guys, there's a lot to that.
Yeah.
You know, I know Spanky here locally. I think he does it, and some of the guys from Cofield.
Yeah, the Stew Crew.
The Stew Crew. There's a lot to it, and like I said, they're a lot younger than I am. So, but they do an exceptional job with what they put on a heck of a show down at Cofield a few months back. We sponsored it. Looking forward to doing it again soon.
Okay, great. I think that's August 12th. We already got scheduled.
Absolutely.
You know what I had? I had a clip of when you wrestled at the Knockout Child Abuse. He actually got in the ring, folks, back at Knockout Child Abuse in April of 2020, I believe it was, or 2019. It's okay. It didn't get on anything important. Just the T-shirt. And the 10 pounds of gold. Anyway, so he got up in the ring, and we had somebody talking smack.
They were, and my chief at the time, Lonnie LaRue, he was able to get up there, and we got that under control real quick and sent the guy back packing. So
yeah, he went back to Knoxville crying with his tail tucked. But I had the video, is what I was going to tell you. Right. But when I downloaded it, it didn't work right, so I ended up just going without it.
Right.
So
okay.
You guys you can look up on Sheriff Wayne Potter's Facebook page. It was long about April of 2019, I think, maybe 2020 when we had the show, and he rocked the house down there, was a special guest in the ring. Probably the first time you've been in the ring in 20 years, I'd say.
It was a long time, yeah. It was a long time.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your life growing up in Morgan County, Wayne.
So, as most of y'all know, I was born and raised here in Morgan County. It's an absolute great place to raise a family. My parents were from here. My grandparents were from here. Just a really, really good place to raise a family. I've had the opportunity to do a lot of traveling in my life and seeing other towns and being in other places and coming back to Morgan County. There's no way in the world that I would be the sheriff in any other county. I mean, this is just the greatest place in the world to live. And I know the ones that probably don't get out of Morgan County a whole lot, they won't appreciate it, but these other places is just not home. I mean, it's just this is really I know we have our problems, we have our crimes, we have a lot of things that goes on here, but in these other places, it's just so much bigger, so much larger.
Yeah.
You know, I left. We went on vacation 2 weeks ago. We were gone for 5 or 6 days. I didn't even lock my house. Didn't even lock my vehicles up at the house. Where else can you live in the United States that you don't have to worry about that?
Yeah, not very many these days.
You know, it's just a great place to live.
Yeah. So when you grew up, your mom and dad's name were?
Nancy and C.L. Potter.
Nancy and C.L. Potter. So some of y'all out there watching, some of you older folks that are out there watching will know his mom and dad, lifelong Morgan County residents.
So I was the baby of 4.
Okay.
Walter being the oldest, Porky, Michael being the second. He was killed in an accident in 1986. Missy being the third, and me being the baby.
Yeah. So I bring that up because you kind of grew up pretty poor, like most people in Morgan County, right?
We did. We struggled just like everyone else. You know, I remember in 1986 when when Porky got killed. We lost everything we had, and so we lived. A lot of people don't realize this, and without going into a lot of details, but there was a few months there where we actually lived in a tent. We just lost everything we had, and of course we had family that took care of us and let us stay at their places and stuff like that. But hey, I understand what hard living's about.
Yeah. And then you picked yourself up by the bootstraps.
Well, you have to. That's what's instilled into you. You got to move on. You got to do the right thing, and you're not ever going to. Nobody's going to give you anything, Tommy. You got to work for it.
Yeah.
So that was something instilled in us, and every one of us turned out to be hard workers and pillars of the community. And I'm just, there was a time when you just didn't get along with your parents. It's just that's what happens as a teenager. But Mom and Dad, I'm just so blessed to know that I had that in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Because there were days when it was rough, but we all got through it. And man, I'm telling you, they were my best friends and later in life.
Yeah, so many people face that in Morgan County right now. All over our country, it's tough. Things, prices are out of control. And I think about that today. I was watching some of the news, and they were talking about you've got a gentleman that's ready to retire. He's worked his whole life, and we see that at the prison. These guys work their whole life. And what they depend on is potentially a pension and then potentially a 401k,
right.
Maybe some sort of a market-driven retirement.
Right.
And right now, can you imagine the fear that may come over somebody that's getting ready to retire, and the 401k is turning into a 201k. They said that on the news earlier, and that would just be awful.
It's just tough. It's tough. This country, of course, I'm still young enough to know, but I've never seen it this bad. We're going in a direction that, and I can relate to a lot of this because my wife's from the Philippines. And, her and I talk about, building a house in the Philippines and retiring there and things of that nature, as life goes on. And she assures me every day, no, you don't want to go back there. It's a third world country. And, their electricity doesn't work great. Their plumbing's not efficient. There's just so many problems there. It's naturally it's a beautiful place to live, but man, America is the greatest place on earth. And it's like we're losing touch with that. We're losing the reality of it. It's the workforce ain't like it used to be. We gotta make some changes in our life.
Yeah, I bring that up because before you were sheriff, how old are you? 46.
I'm 47.
He's 47, and he's been the sheriff this will be his fourth year. His first term's almost ending here, and before that, you were in law enforcement a lot, but you have businesses you've owned and other things like that, right?
So yeah, we started buying rental property back in, Leah and I had only been married probably 2 years, and we started buying rental property, and there again, we both work hard. We both worked really hard. I could just about build anything thanks to my ability that my dad gave me. Leah could take a quarter and stretch it into a $50 bill in 5 seconds. So it's just been a great partnership, and but it's been tough. I mean, there's a lot of days when of course, for those that don't know, Leah's retired. She has a tumor on her brain. She's losing some sight slowly, but she retired about 19 months ago. But before this, I mean, there was days when we were both up and gone at 4 o'clock, and we didn't see each other again until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And we had many a days like that. Now we're a lot better today than we were 20 years ago, and we've had some rough spills of it. But I'm just telling you, she's been a miracle for me.
Well, you've got, how many children do y'all have?
We have 6.
So they got 6 kids. You guys probably only know one person that's got more than them, and that'd be us.
That'd be you.
We got 7.
Yeah.
So it's tough when you're raising a big family like that, but I've seen our interactions. We've been friends now for a dozen years or so, ever since you saved my mom's life down in that's another story. He literally was the first one on scene to save my mom's life in a car accident back in 2000. So anyway, but we have other people walking in here, live audience right now.
That's great.
That's good. You're a popular guy.
So this is your first in-studio podcast, is that correct?
That's true. As you guys seen it last week with Ethan on Thursday, we did it live on location out at Tanner's.
Right.
But it's the first time we've done in-studio with a guest in the studio here in the broadcast room at the office. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's nice to be the first, I guess.
Yeah, and so what I thought about, because everybody seems to like to be the first. Every time I have another guest, I'm going to think of something else to be the first
Absolutely,
of.
absolutely.
Is that a good gimmick?
Absolutely, I think so. And you can sell more at that.
Right. I'm trying to get him to buy some ads, but, you don't have an opponent, so I don't think he knows it. But I think he's going to buy some. I got a pretty good ad guy. Anyway, so knowing that you've raised a big family and been able to spend quality time with them, I've watched him interact with a lot of different folks. And as busy as he is and as busy as Leah was, and they're building a life for their family, he's really taking the time to spend time with his kids. And that has always been an inspiration and motivation for me because it's very busy at the newspaper, from being a National Guard recruiter, working at the prison, doing all the things that we've done, finding time and carving it out to spend time with your family is very important.
It is, but, it's not always easy, though, Tommy. I mean, like I said, Leah stayed on me quite a bit, several years back when little Wayne was a lot smaller. Do this, do that. And I just didn't have the time. So it's tough. It's tough when you're trying to work and manage businesses. And like I said, I've got a daughter, Michaela, that's just she just created a cleaning company. I kind of helped her get it off and running it back in August of last year. It's taken off and doing really good. She's been doing a lot of work in 2 or 3 different states. So trying to help her, guide her in that direction, and take care of her, and do the things, and be the sheriff, and take care of the family. This is not an easy job. It's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, you make it look easy, man.
I've got a lot of good people around me. That's the that's the ticket. I'm telling you, my department, I can't say enough about them, from the top all the way to the bottom. I mean, man, they make my job so easy. And there again, I'm just no country boy. I mean, dumb as a box of rocks. But I know that if you surround yourself with the right people, you're going to be successful. And that's one of the talents that I have, because I'm telling you, from the top to the bottom over there, the sheriff's department is in better shape than, in my opinion, than it's been in years. And I've worked over there off and on for the last 20 years.
Well, that kind of segues into when we get to talking about currently and what you're doing as sheriff and the things you've accomplished in those years. We'll get into that in just a second. Let me take a quick break to remind you to hit that share button. Let us know where you're watching from, and make sure you hit that stars button, because you may have some free ones, and you can make sure. And remember, he's got 6 kids and I got 7, and our kids get hungry. So make sure you give us those stars, and I'm not giving him any
I
of
just
it.
need to say that I'm not benefiting anything from this.
That's okay. Is that considered exploitation? I don't know. Anyway, so make sure you guys do that. Tune in. We got some great dad jokes for you in a little while. But I had something funny to say there, but I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, we also have something here that we're going to allow you to do for the first time ever on this podcast.
There's a lot of first time ever.
I know.
Breaking news. There's a lot of things going on that I'm not aware about.
Before we get into his life as a sheriff, the day in the life of a small town sheriff, I've got this right here, okay? And it's called None of Your Beeswax Apiary. Did you know that this is right down the road? None of Your Beeswax Apiary. They have bees, and they make this honey literally 2 miles down the street.
So who makes that, Tommy?
The None of Your Beeswax.
I got it.
It's None of Your Beeswax.
I got it, man. I got it. So is this my bottle to take home with me?
No, absolutely not.
All right.
We got that just to be able, but you are going to get to taste it, and I want you to taste it. I brought 2 spoons.
I was going to say I'm going to need a new spoon.
I got you one. What are you talking about? Hey, man, we can share a spoon. Okay, folks, if you haven't tried None of Your Beeswax Apiary, you can look them up on Facebook. They're really good. I'll put a link to it down in the comments. But it's like liquid gold. Liquid gold. Try this.
So, wow.
Don't get it on my desk, because I don't need ants again. I just got rid of those things. My wife's going to kill me for telling you that.
Man, that is great.
Is that good or what?
That is awesome.
Y'all want to try this? Y'all want to try some?
I'm telling you, that is
Mikey,
really good.
We've got so many people in the audience here. You're all going home with a bottle of None of Your Beeswax, honey.
Give me a brag.
Compliments of your own paycheck. Woo!
Give me a towel.
You can look them up on there. What did you do? He spilled it. Oh, you had one job, Sheriff.
I know.
Don't spill the honey bit. What? Honey. I got that.
I'm telling you.
He got it all over him. He's like Yogi the Bear.
That's it.
No, who was the one? Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh.
Yogi the Bear.
Well, Yogi ate honey in a picnic basket.
That's right, with Boo Boo.
I've got another clean spoon if you don't want to eat after your husband, Leah. You want to try this?
I'm telling you, it's really good.
It was good. I told you. That is no joke. I know he keep a straight face. But that is some delicious honey.
I'm taking it with me.
No, you ain't.
Yes, I am.
If they're tuning in right now.
So let me explain to how this is going to work. I'm going to take this with me.
I'm going to have to get another one. I'm telling you, it's good. Now, if you have never tried the honey that has the honeycomb, have you ever eaten honey with honeycomb in it?
No, I don't think so.
So I didn't know you could eat that. But there's some called Carolina something, and they make this honey with a honeycomb in it, right? It comes flat, kind of like this.
Right.
And you can eat the honeycomb with it. And, man, it is great. It's like very healthy or something.
That is awesome.
Brought to you by these free energy.
Are you running short on paper towels?
Wow. Hold on. Maybe
I
am. Joe Biden, you never know what's coming next.
Kleenex cleaning pros will be right here to help you if need be.
And now a break from our sponsors. Kleenex Cleaning Pros will be coming in to clean up the desk. Man, we set that up good, didn't we?
Perfect.
Michaela. So anyway, now let's get into the goods, right? So
right.
I've got a few pictures here. I'm going to show you guys. The sheriff will be able to see those. So we're going to talk about them because he's done a lot of great things as he's been sheriff with the help of his team. As he said, he's got a team of experts over there that are really good in their field. But did y'all know this, that for the first time in the history of Morgan County, we think, he has his whole crew certified over there. So this is when. Tell us about this picture.
So that's me going to the. That's some of my guys going through their last police academy there, and we've changed over and we're doing it all at Alcoa now. We was going to Walter State, but that's something that actually the state of Tennessee started requiring back several years ago. You know, you have to be certified to work in law enforcement. So, yeah, we are all currently certified. I don't know that that's going to be the first time in history because that's something that happened several years back. I know a lot of the employees, a lot of times they would come in and get hired and they would not stay and they would lose their certification or not stay long enough to get it and so forth. But, yeah, currently everyone at my department, law enforcement-wise, is certified law enforcement through.
But that's really important. As you guys saw the photos there, even Wayne tries to go to all the graduations when they have them.
I've went to every one except one, and I was in Washington, D.C. and missed that one.
Yeah.
So
what were you doing in Washington, D.C.?
So, yeah, it was getting to meet the man.
Is that the time, or was it this time right here?
It was. Yeah,
oh, that's another time you were in Washington, D.C.
We got invited up there a couple of times, and it's both times it was a blast. Getting to meet the president was probably one of the highlights of my career.
Well, he came by.
Yeah, and seeing him standing over there.
So
you know, a lot of people be surprised, but you know, as we started this out, you know, I'm 6'6" and weigh 350 pounds. So in that photo, if you'll look closely, Donald Trump is not a little guy. I mean, he's a pretty good sized guy, you know. I mean, and a super good guy, and got the opportunity to go down and meet him at the tarmac in Nashville when he flew in to do his last debate. So I've got, it was just a great opportunity to get to spend some time with him. And of course, you know, I mean, I think a lot of people's looking back on it today and thinking, you know, of course, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but just being able to hang out with the president or get to see the president of the United States is a huge accomplishment, regardless of their politics, whether they're Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, I like how you said huge. You kind of said that almost just like Donald Trump. He's taken after the man. Okay, so let's look at this next picture here, okay? Because before the show's over, Sheriff Potter's got some huge announcements that he's going to make about some elections that are coming up. And the first one we're going to talk about is this one right here. Tell us about this guy in this picture.
So that's Sheriff Barker over in Anderson County, and of course, you know, both him and I both started out working drugs through our law enforcement career, and he was there in Anderson County, and I was here in Morgan County, and we never actually crossed paths through all the years that we worked dope. We never crossed paths. So I get elected in November, or I go to new sheriff school in August of 2018. And I don't have a clue who this guy is. Never met him. So he is, and if you don't know him, you got to meet him. I mean, he is there. He's smiling every time you see him. He's always got some kind of great joke. And of course, he starts out by telling this story of me being a country music singer.
Well, that's why I got this guitar in the background. That was the next thing I was going to get to.
Yeah, I can't sing. I can't sing and I can't play the guitar. I have no music talent whatsoever. So he convinces half the Sheriff's Association that I'm a country music singer from the 90s. And it's just been rolling ever since. And every time we go to TSA now, it's hey, Sheriff, you gonna get up and sing? I can't sing a lick, but he is so convincing. And like I said, he turned out to be one of my best friends. He is anytime Morgan County's a little bit misfortunate on manpower and things like that and equipment. So if I need something, I go straight to him or Sheriff Stockton in Roane County. I mean, I'm blessed. We're just simply blessed by everything that the surrounding sheriffs has done for us, and even getting Sheriff Spangler out of Knox County to assist and things like that.
Well, we've been on. I went, in the media. Sometimes we help out with some of that as far as coverage. And one time we went on a kind of a early morning raid, I guess, if you will.
Right.
And I just remember the multi-agency effort that is. I mean, that takes a lot to bring all those folks together.
That was something that Keith Hawkins, our drug guy, done. Him and Caleb Pemberton, they were working really hard. There was before COVID hit, and what I'm talking to you about when I say this, before COVID hit, we brought 16 to 20 agencies here in Morgan County. We've done this on 2 different occasions. We would meet at 4 o'clock in the morning. There was months worth of work put into this through Keith and Caleb and the rest of the department. But we would bring them in. We would have 100 to 120 people that we had made buys off of or had warrants on, and we went out and picked them up. And these agencies, man, they just love coming. They love coming to Morgan County. We'd feed them some bologna and we took care of them, and it was just an awesome event. We had people from the DA's office. Russell Johnson was just tremendous. He sent his people up here. Everything was perfect, and we did this on a couple of occasions, and we really made some headway. And then COVID hit, and that changed the ball game. So I'm telling you, but we're going to get back to where we were. I mean, it's coming. COVID's leaving for the most part. And we're going to get back to where we were, and we're going to start making some serious drug raids. But we got some serious problems here in Morgan County with this heroin and fentanyl and things.
Well, before we start talking about that, because it's an extremely serious problem, and we're going to spend just a few minutes on it here in a little bit talking about that because it's affecting everybody in our community.
Absolutely.
And we want to spend some time just kind of digesting what's going on, where it's coming from, and those kind of things. But I do want to take a moment before we get too far away from the subject and talk about this Wayne Potter, the singer part.
Oh, man, there's no truth to that.
So when I first met Sheriff Barker, I mean, he shared these stories as though he had grew up with Wayne and known him his whole life and knew for certain he was this country singer as close to Billy Ray Cyrus as there is ever come. So I had the guitar here, but I also have a good clip here
don't do
from
that.
your house.
Don't do that.
At one of the birthday parties we were at when you were singing some karaoke.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
I couldn't download it. Man, I had you going for a second.
Yeah, you did.
But you can go to Sheriff Wayne Potter's page.
Man, it's terrible.
After you follow it so you can keep up with what's going on.
It's terrible. But, I love Leah because I think it's who I was singing to.
Yeah,
really
he does. And if you know the Filipino community, they love karaoke. So we were all singing karaoke over there and just having a ball. And then the sheriff all of a sudden gets up, the guy that doesn't sing, as he said, and starts belting one out, I think, with
older women. Yeah, I remember it well. Yeah. Did I tell you how much I loved Leah?
Yeah, he loves her. Do you want to sing a ballad to her
No,
real quick?
I'm good.
I can pick a guitar tune.
I'm good. I appreciate it, though. I really do.
Man, that was a good time, man. I led right down into that time.
So the food is great at these parties, and that's something now that we're talking about it. So July the 9th, I'm having a pretty good size get-together here at the Senior Citizen Building. It's more or less a Wayne Potter for Sheriff kickoff to get out and early vote. That's something I'd really like to talk about tonight before we get too deep into things. So and it's just election talk. So a couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go over to Davidson County, North Carolina, and help a good friend of mine out that was running for sheriff over there. So in his county, there's 168,000 people, so it's a pretty large county compared to Morgan County at 22,000. But the sheriff and I become really good friends 4 years ago, I guess, at this point in time. And so I go over to help him a couple of Tuesdays ago on his primary day. 17 to 22,000 people showed up to vote, and it was very disheartening. Of course, he won by 80% of the vote, but man, we've got to get out and vote. We've got to change what happened in 2020, and we got to get out and vote. But I just think that we need to really focus on that and let everybody know that, hey, your vote counts, and we need to you need to get out and cast it.
Yeah.
So I'm planning this big celebration on July the 9th. It's a week before early voting starts. The food's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of Filipino food. We're going to have a lot of people there. I'm in the process of trying to get some people at a national level there. Don't know that that's going to happen, But it's gonna be.
I did see that President Trump is going to be coming to Nashville right around that same time. Is there something going on here we need to know about?
I don't know that there's absolutely.
Man,
not
I really want
me.
to break the news.
No, that's not for President Trump will not be there.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and say that. So
I don't know. We could bring him.
Well, maybe, but it's just people need to take it serious. We got to get out and vote. This is important. I mean, like I said, I seen it firsthand there in Davis, North Carolina, with the turnout. It was just. It just wasn't the turnout that they normally get, and but we need to do that. I mean, that's something that that military veterans they fought for our country to give us to give us that right, and we need to get out and cast that vote, regardless of who you're voting for. Right. Republican, Democrat, Independent, it doesn't matter. Just get out and express. Get out and do it.
And as you know, I look through election numbers all the time. I'm kind of analyze all the information, and I've been doing a lot of that in my office here, and what he's talking about is true. And the anticipation for this upcoming election in August, early voting starts July 15th.
So I've got a friend that's watching this.
He said that he's invited to Mar-a-Lago. So
I don't even think he's there no more.
But anyway, so he probably still in Mar-a-Lago. Anyway, so we know that it's probably going to be a low voter turnout, but it doesn't have to be. There's nothing in stone that says you should have a lower turnout in a midterm election. And so it's very important that people get out and vote and exercise that right, because people died all over this world to save our rights to vote and give us that freedom. So I appreciate you bringing that up. It's very important, Wayne. We need to have more than 4,500. It looks like that's probably the number that we're probably going to hit on approximately.
It's kind of looking like that, but at the same token, I think when I ran in 14, I think there was close to 5,800, and then in 18, I think it had dropped down to around 54 to 5,500. But I'm really hoping, and I'm going to work hard. I mean, I have no opponent, so my effort is going to be to get people out to vote, because I think it's very important. Regardless of who you're voting for, you got to go do it. You need to go do it. The country needs you to do it. This county needs you to do it.
Yeah, that's right. And make sure you do that. If you're out there still watching, we've got a lot of y'all on there. Let us know. Everybody's talking. You guys know I usually read these comments and love honey with the honeycomb, confiscate the honey, Wayne. I mean, that's my honey. Just so you know, Randy Harlan, that's my honey. He's not getting
Randy. It's not gonna be here tomorrow.
And Amy Wright, let's just we're going to talk about something somebody brought up here. Amy Wright Starkey says people don't trust the vote count now.
Well, and I think Amy is on to something there. To start with, let me say this. Amy's a super good person. I know Amy personally and have spent some time with her, talking to her, and she is 100% correct. I believe that. I don't think they trust it. But there again, we have to fix that. It's got to be fixed somehow, some way. It's got to be fixed, because, that's going to determine what leads our county and or our nation as far as that goes. We got to get out and vote. That's, like I said, I have no opponent. That's going to be my number one goal, is to get out and kind of to try to rally people and instill in them that, hey, this is important.
And I don't know a lot of the candidates. Mark Heck's having a get out the vote rally June 25th, maybe 24th, June 24th, Friday. But a lot of these candidates are having these events, and it's good to get involved, to get out and find out who these people are and ask them questions. It'll motivate you to either vote for somebody.
It does, and I've not, I know Brian's had a few get-togethers over the last few weeks. He's texted me. I've not been able to attend any of them. I've had something else going on, but he's out doing the same thing. And there again, as a politician, we got to pull together and do that. All of us together, we got to get out and work hard and try to instill in these people. You got to vote, because I'm a little bit concerned if we don't have a big turnout this year. What's it going to be like in 2 years? I mean, we have got to. Yeah,
and we got to change it up there in the White House. Absolutely,
we've got to make some changes, definitely.
Or we're going to be eating honey, lots of honey.
I'm telling you, as good as that honey is,
that'd be all right.
That'd be all right.
Okay, so now let's move on into kind of your 4 years as sheriff, kind of what you have done and the things that you want to accomplish in the next 4 years, and let's just see where we go from there.
So there's some things weighing on my heart. When I come into office, we had I think 6 people that was missing in Morgan County. I believe there were 6 missing as far as back in the 80s, I believe. So that was one of my big goals, was to try to kind of slim that down a little bit. These families deserve answers where their loved ones are, and so forth and so on. and we worked really hard on the Hamby case. Got an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Kevin's mom and dad, and they're super great people. Uh, there was another gentleman missing from Gobi when we took office, and we was able to solve it. There was, like I said, there's some things that we've done, and of course, we've got the Jason Burge case that's really weighing on me right now, and there's just some cases that's really bothering me, and we got our guys out working on them. But there again, the Welch case in Oakdale is another one that comes to mind. There's just and there again, I've spoke to that family. They deserve answers. So there's some things that's really important to me, and that's going to take. It's right there with fentanyl and the heroin issue. I mean, if not bigger. And so those are things that I'm going to really try to focus on and just try our best as a department to make some difference, make some changes.
Yeah.
But there's so there again, we're not perfect. I say this every day. There's room for improvement on every angle at the sheriff's department. But if we ever get to the point where we think we're perfect, we're losing. So we just got to continue to dig every day.
Yeah. I know this is going to sound simple, but one of the things that I've noticed in the communities is police officers. And as simple as that is them rolling around, patrolling the communities. When there's calls, they're out and about. They're going and they're at the schools. They're doing other stuff. And that's half the battle. I mean, just that sight of law enforcement out there can really deter a lot of different things.
It can, and there again, like I said earlier, man, I'm telling you, I can't say enough about my department. These the captains, the chiefs, my internal staff, they're just great. I mean, at the end of the day, hey, man, we're a family. I know sometimes that we probably show it. You're in and out of over there a whole lot, so you see the everyday wheel turning there at the sheriff's department. So I know there's times when you come in and there's there's some bickering or so forth. That's just being a family. One of the other things that I want to try to focus on is the jail. They're kind of at a different location than the sheriff's department, and a lot of times I think they get forgotten. But those correctional officers have got a job like you would never imagine. I mean, basically, we go out. The road department, the sheriff's department goes out and arrests his people, brings them in there and drops them off to jail, and their job's done at that point.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a correctional officer's job to have to take care of them, give them medicine, get them to the rec yard and so forth, and deal with their everyday problems. So, I really want to focus on the jail too, because that's one of they need all the help that they can get down there.
Well, you're talking about those correctional officers. I was pulling up some information that I got from the finance director this week, and these guys are making like $11.50 an hour starting out. Okay?
That's correct.
And they can go right down here to the state facility, and they can be making $21 and something an hour. So that's tough on you.
The ones that are there, man, they're dug in. I mean, that's where they want to be. They want to be there, and we've got some that's been there for 18, 20 years, and that's their home. And like I said, it's easy for them to feel forgotten because they don't ever get credit, and that's one thing that I want to change. And even myself, as the what you would call the chief law enforcement officer of the county, the first 4 years, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I ain't real sure that I didn't forget them sometimes. So coming up here tonight, that was one of the things that I wanted to focus on is just letting them know that, hey, I apologize. I failed you as a leader, but moving forward, you'll see a difference in the sheriff's department because they're important to me, extremely important to me. They're the backbone of our department.
Yeah, and unseen. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. So, I mean, that's a big deal that he's wanting to focus on those correctional officers and his entire department. I've seen when I've went over there and needed some things. For instance, I'm doing a lot of investigative journalism work here lately, looking into a lot of things that I've heard about. And I had to come over to sheriff's department. I was asking for some police records on some stuff. And she had it to me within 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, your folks know what they're doing.
Man, they're great. Like I said, they're great. I can't say enough about them. And this is an hour-long segment. I'm telling you, we could go on for days with these people. I mean, they're awesome. It's just unbelievable the team that's over there.
And the diversity from a lot of those guys will go to the jail. So in the old days, it used to be. Is it still this way? They go to the jail hoping to become a rolling officer.
That's what happens basically. Yeah,
kind of start out.
Yeah, that's where I started. I left Brushy Mountain in '98, I believe it was, and went to work for the Morgan County Sheriff's Department as a correctional officer. And I spent about 18 or 19 months there. and then put myself through police academy down in Cleveland State. So that's kind of your level ground where you start out with, and like I said, back then you couldn't get a job as a police officer. I mean, there was people in line. I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I mean, nowadays I don't even have no applications over there.
Wow.
I mean, nobody wants to go to work. It's just I'm there again. I'm trying to stay out of politics as much as I can, but this is not a Republican issue. This is not a Democratic issue. This is an American issue. We have got to get these people back to work. We've got to get them back to work. I don't know how to do it, but we got to get them back interested.
Yeah, and he's talking about you can't get anybody to work fast food or anything right now,
No.
let alone law enforcement,
No.
where they're being berated every day on the news from all types of places. It's tough.
We eat out a lot. We were at Knoxville Sunday. I guess it was Sunday. Went through a drive-through window, and their lobby was closed. And based off the sign there to drive-through window, it's been closed for a while because they just don't have no help.
Yeah,
they don't have no employees. So it's just there again. We got to change the direction that we're going to as in a country.
Well, okay. Well, we're kind of going to transition into this last segment, at least with the sheriff, because I know his time is very important. He had to deal with some stuff today. Almost didn't make it, but thankfully all that's kind of took care of. And anyway, what I want to do is I'm going to read a quote.
Okay.
I'm going to pull it up on the screen. I'm going to read this quote, and it's going to transition us into this community issue and how we can help solve some of the things that we're facing as a community. But it's intriguing, and I saw it the other day, and it really just intrigued me. So I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to read it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm fascinated by how the behavior of the people who took 3 pieces of pizza at the pizza party because they thought it would run out, and the people who took 1 piece for the exact same reason is such a perfect encapsulation of American beliefs about community. Man, isn't that deep?
So that is, and I've been on both sides of that. I've got 7 pieces before at the party, and then I've went up and not got none.
Yeah.
So that's all about just trying to discipline yourself as a person, as a human being, and I feel like you go through stages in your life where you have there's good in you comes out, and then there's bad too. I mean, man, I've not been perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I'll probably, if I live another 30 minutes, I'm going to make more. One of the things that I have really, really focused on in my life is own it. If you did it, own it. It'll catch you. So that's kind of what I try to instill into my kids. Not to be selfish, but when you do make a selfish mistake, own it.
Yeah.
So that's and I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or not, Tommy, as far as trying to raise the kids. I think I have. I've got 6 kids. They're all good kids, but you just don't know in this day and time what when they're away from you as a parent, how are they really acting?
Yeah.
I want to believe in my heart that Lee and I have been really successful with raising the kids, but I'll say this. Of course, Malia's probably listening right now. She understands right from wrong. When she does wrong, she didn't get put in timeout. She didn't get put in the corner. She got whipped for it.
Yeah.
And I say that about her because she seemed to never learn.
Yeah.
Michaela and Lil
Malia,
Wayne.
I did not tell him to do this to you. I don't know what
the rest of them seem to learn from that first whipping, but now she's had to go through that about 3 or 4 times in her life.
Yeah.
So, but she's good, great kid, but you gotta be a parent, Tommy.
Well, it's tough. So the quote when we read that,
Right.
different people think about it in different ways. And the best thing that I take from what you're talking about right now is these stages in life. So there's going to be stages in life. You're either going to grow up or you're not. The Bible talks about when you're a child, you drank the milk, and then I'm paraphrasing, when you get older, you ate the meat, right?
Right.
So in my perspective from that quote, and it intrigued me so much because it's about, do you care about other people or do you not? Do you immediately think of yourself with every decision that you make, or do you think of how that will affect other people? And so some of the stuff that we're about to talk about, how it's affected our community and the things, it's bad decisions from decent people. They just make bad choices. But we wake up every morning with that ability that God give us to make a choice. And is it going to be a choice where we think of what can we do for the community? What can I do to help somebody be better today? Or are we always thinking about what am I going to do today to make myself feel good? you know.
So it goes back to what I originally said. Selfish decisions. You got to make the right one. And I mean, and if you don't, you got to own it. And you got to be able to. It kind of goes back to when there again. I'm gonna go back a few years, but my dad used to tell me all the time, Wayne, you justify everything. Whether it's right or wrong, you justify it the way you want to justify it. And I was a kid and I thought that's the craziest thing I ever heard in my life. But he was right. He was right on target. If I was cutting grass or whatever I was doing, I justified it with myself, and that goes back to making those selfish decisions. You got to think about everybody, but don't think about yourself. At the end of the day, yourself will be there if you make the right choice.
So this brings us on to this final subject, which it's extremely important because we've seen so many families broken up over this stuff. Right. And again, we're not in this conversation with the sheriff. I know he's going to feel the same way. We're not pointing fingers at anybody to say they're horrible people. We just want to talk about solutions and how we can fix this epidemic of this fentanyl that's coming in. First of all, where's this fentanyl coming in from?
Well, the biggest majority of it's coming in through Mexico, and I got the opportunity to go down there 2 or 3 months ago. Senator Haggerty took me along with 5 other sheriffs in the state of Tennessee, and we got to go down and spend 3 days, and it was some of the it's probably the best 72 hours of my life. It was just hardcore work, and we didn't stop. We slept about 4 hours a night, and that was it. I mean, we were out. There was no fun time. It was all educational, and I seen so much, and I learned so much. And there again, I know, of course, social media sometimes can be mean and cruel. So I seen the bad things that was said about, he needs to be back here, he needs to be back here in Morgan County and not be worrying about what's going on at the border. Well, the people that says that don't quite understand that everything that's coming across that border is making it right here to Morgan County. So me going down there was not a party. It was going down there to educate myself, and so I could come back and make it easier and better and educate our community. So there again, you just got to overlook the naysayers and go with it and try to get educated and try to do the best you can. But that's where 90% of your fentanyl and stuff's coming through is the southern borders.
Well, we talked about last night. The sheriff and I were sharing some, just kind of ideas on what we thought could help fix and slow down the problem, because we've had several overdose deaths in the last year from this poison, and some of them have lost hope that they can't even stop taking these drugs. And we talked about there's not a lot to do in Morgan County for people, whether it's jobs and industry, whether it's things to do. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do outdoors, tourism stuff. But tell us about some of that, like idle hands or the devil's workshop.
So to begin with, you don't. Everybody, and I've been doing this a long time, but everybody that I've ever come in contact with that's been addicted to drugs, and I've had it in my family. They're still somebody's loved one. There's somebody's daughter, son, grandson, mom, dad, and sometimes you get aggravated because you see the same old faces over and over again. But at the end of the day, you got to continue to have compassion for them. I've got people in my family that says some things such as, well, they're all on drugs, just let them go. Well, you can't, that's just it's not hit their family yet, or it's not affected them personally yet. So you got to have compassion. You got to be able to try to find the solution at the end of the day. And that's the $1 million question. And I think Morgan County struggles from lack of industry. I think, and this is my experience with dealing with drugs. I'm not going to call any names, but I remember back in 2004, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. So I went and I raided this gentleman for having a meth lab at his house. And just by talking to him, he seemed like a really nice guy. He seemed like a really good guy. And I got him up to the sheriff's department. I got sat down with him, and I really got the pen to the paper to starting my investigation. And he says to me, I drove a truck for 5 years. I was on the road constantly. Everything, when I come home in the evening, everything was being broken into. When I'd come home on the weekends, I'm sorry. And he said, I had to make a tough choice here in Morgan County. I either had to start making meth, or I had to continue to let my stuff get carried off while I was gone away at work. And he said, so I chose to stay home and make meth. Well, that didn't resonate with me at first, but then you get to thinking about it and you think, well, if there was good industry here, if there was good jobs here, maybe that might deter some of these people. So, I think we got to look at that. I think we got to look at the industry side of it, because I think if we had some, real good paying jobs here, it might deter people it would give them a purpose in life, if that makes any sense. And it would change them. It would change them. That's just my thoughts, but who am I?
Well, you're the sheriff. America's sheriff, as a matter of fact. So Joseph Arpaio used to be, but now it's you.
Yeah, I don't have tents.
Oh yeah, you don't have a tent city. Maybe one day that there is a big jail that might have to be built here one day. We can just save money and put some tents up.
That's coming, and it's unfortunate, but I'm lost for words with it. But it's something that's going to happen here in Morgan County, and I'm fighting every day to try to prevent it. But it's definitely something that's going to come down the pipe at some point.
So when we're talking about the fentanyl, and now we're talking on long-term incarceration and things that's happening all over the country, we don't have a lot of bed space at our jail, and so what do you do?
So what you do is you just basically we got 46 bed facility there, Tommy, and yesterday we had 82 or 84 inmates, so we're double capacity. And what you do is you work closely with the DA's office, with the Judge Davis, and you have to make some tough decisions on who you can release and who you can't. And of course, every constitutional right, they get a right to a bond and so forth. So a lot of people makes bonds. A lot of people in the community that's not been in trouble or not experienced law, they think if you break the law and you get arrested, you go to jail, and that's the end of it. Well, that's unfortunately not the end of it. The Constitution says they got to have a right to a bond. Yeah. So they can get back out, and the common person don't quite understand that sometimes. But those are the things that we're facing here in Morgan County.
Well, so I guess that's pretty much only the questions that I had for you and the subjects that we wanted to talk about. I know there's one more thing. I got one more picture on here to show Wayne, because we promised you there was going to be a big announcement. And so we have a big announcement tonight. You're going to endorse a candidate for office tonight, right?
Yeah, that's the intention, yes.
So
I didn't know that it was a great big announcement, though.
I had to,
Yeah, I selling ads.
Well, I didn't sell any ads. You should have bought some. This was free honey. I maybe could have sold an ad for that. But he's going to make an endorsement in a race that's really important coming up here, and we'll be voting on that in Morgan County starting July 15th on through the election, and then on August the 4th is the election, I believe it is.
That's correct.
It's on a Thursday. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to put this picture up, and this is the sheriff with Tom McFarland.
That's correct. Yeah, so Tom, I got to meet Tom back in 2014. I was running for sheriff, and a super good guy. Like I said, we just kind of hit it off. So Tom and I become really good friends, and when he determined he was going to run for chancellor this year, he reached out to me, and I was honored to be able to say, "Hey, Tom, I've got your back, and I'll do everything I can here in Morgan County to help you." Like I said, I think he's got the right tools in his toolbox to make a great judge, and he'll do great things, I believe.
Yeah, well, I know I'm sure he's appreciative of that, and so he's out of Roane County. That's Tom McFarland. He's running for chancellor, and he does have an opponent, I believe. But
he does.
Anyway, so we appreciate you coming on, Sheriff.
Hey, I was tickled to death to be here. Glad I was the first one. There again, just be patient with the Morgan County Sheriff's Department. We're trying to do everything we can to make it a better place. And Tommy, I want to say this: you do a heck of a job here. I watch you a lot. You're really become a good friend over the last several years, and I admire you for what you're doing. Your job's not easy. It's kind of like being the sheriff. Sometimes you got to make tough decisions on what you do and the direction you go in, and it affects your family just like me being the sheriff. Every decision I make affects mine. So I just want to say, hey, you've not got it easy either, and I commend you for what you're doing, and this is going to be, you're doing great things.
Well, I appreciate that, Wayne. We're just going to keep shining light on it. With that said, we're going to let Wayne go. I got a few more minutes with you guys so that we can talk about some other things that's going on in the community. I see you guys trying to click that end button there, but just hang on just a little longer. I know he's the superstar here, but y'all can hang on just a few more minutes. We're going to go over some announcements, and we're going to go over some other stuff that we have been trying to work on here at the newspaper. That ain't going to work. I've got this other camera, but it's just not working. So, again, thank you, Sheriff Potter and his family, for coming out here. We know this is going to be a big one. Make sure you're hitting those likes, hitting that share button, letting us know where you're watching from. Hopefully you guys could hear that well, and it went good. This is beta number 9. I'm calling it, Sheriff, before he leaves, he's standing over there. And if I call it betas, I can mess up, and nobody really gets mad, so it works out good. This is beta number 9. Anyway, so we got a lot of stuff that we're working on. June the 24th, let's go through a list of dates of some announcements. We got the MoCo Today Lift-a-thon for the Wartburg Central Bulldogs. We also have on June 25th the Miss Independence pageant coming up, and we do have an announcement on the Miss Independence pageant. Looks like my internet's messing up, but Miss Independence pageant is going to have a new category, 40 plus. So if you're 40 plus, you can still enter. And then we have the Wartburg Speedway races are coming up this Saturday. There's some big races, so make sure you watch our page. You might win some tickets, but go out and see the races this Saturday. Next Tuesday, we're going to have Kyle Rhines. He's the new athletic director for the Wartburg Central Bulldogs, and so we're going to have him on talking about all the changes at the Wartburg Athletic Department and the new coaches and all those things. So we're going to have him on live in studio here next Tuesday night. Also, I just want to give you a heads up. We're working on a lot of stuff for election coverage that's coming up. We're going to try to make sure that we report what we can report. We're working on some investigative journalism pieces. We've been working on those for several weeks. We're pulling out Freedom of Information Act requests, doing all these things to try to make sure that you, the voter, have the right information to make a good decision when you vote for your next leaders here. We're still planning our debate for the county executives race for Mark Keck and Brian Langley. We have reached out to both candidates. Boy, wouldn't that be something, Mark Langley. Mark Heck has agreed to any of the 3 dates we gave them. Brian Langley has yet to respond, so we're waiting to see what he says. We want to make sure we can do just like we did here, have an informative conversation so you guys can make your best decision. Anyway, we said we give away this book, so we're going to give away this book, but I have to go back through these comments and try to read it and see who all wants this book. So let's go back and see who all's here. Hey, Glenda. Hey, Charlotte. Hey, Thurman. Hey, everybody there's a lot of people watching right now. Vivica, everybody on here. Janie, Jana. Thank y'all for the stars that are sending stars. We appreciate them. Thanks, Aunt Sheena. Oh, wait, she's right here in front of me. And Jason. Jason says he can sing. His sister Sherry says he can sing very well. Okay, I don't know what that's about. But in Chester, appreciate everybody being on here. So we are going to be giving away this book. What I'm going to do is give it away and comment, because I've got to go back and read all these, because I don't know who really, really wants this Tyrus book. Some of y'all commented about it earlier, but that was way up in the broadcast. It's almost been an hour. Who all wants a Tyrus book? Let's just talk here for a few minutes. Who wants a Tyrus book? Let us know. If you're still watching and want this Tyrus book, we'll give it away. And I have 2 of them, but we're going to give one away today and then one away next week. The Just Tyrus book. So make sure you comment right now and let us know. Oh, we got a winner. How about a George Hoover? George Hoover, you have won this Tyrus book. Congratulations. He is a veteran, a 20-year veteran, and he is a great guy. Helps out with the Morgan County Tourism Alliance. He's like their PR guy, so he sends me all these press releases. Anyway, so appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you share this so everybody that didn't get to tune in can watch it, and appreciate everybody. Have a great night, and God bless.